Okay, so I have a skylight, and it casts a lot of sun directly into the house, and certain times of the day it'll go right onto the bed. And since I work nights, that can be a real hassle during the summer. There we go, there's skylight. So I want to put up some kind of a shade to stop that. Okay, so here it is from the other angle. This is inside the bathroom. This is an old row house that before I moved in here, somebody put this skylight in. And it's pretty nice in the winter because it actually heats the place up. But in the summer, it heats the place up a little too much. Like, here's sun coming into the bathroom. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We are going to build a shade for the skylight. Okay, so here are the things we're going to need for this project. A measuring tape. This is screen material. What we're basically going to do is make a screen like would fit in a window, but we're going to make it a custom size, and we're going to put fabric in it. Instead of putting screen in it, we're going to put in fabric. You can use whatever you want. You can use something decorative. What I'm using is this landscaping fabric because it keeps out 80–90% of the sunlight. The final product is going to look something like this, only without the wrinkles. All right. So the first step, measuring. Oh, we're also going to need spline. You can get this at any hardware store. Screening spline. Just round stuff. And it goes into the groove of the spline to hold in the fabric. And with that you need a splining tool, which is this strange dog. But you can get this also at any hardware store. I know Home Depot sells a kit for making a screen, and it comes with several of these, some corner pieces. This is a corner piece right there, and okay, it comes with all that stuff as well as some spline. So that's a great place to start. You're also going to need something to cut this with. It's made of metal, so a hacksaw or a Dremel, anything that'll cut through metal, and it's thin aluminum stuff, so you know it's not a big deal. Okay, so the first step is measuring. Okay, measuring. I've measured. I'm going to write down the stuff. So I might need to do a little bit of math, and I want to make sure I don't have to get up there and measure again. Well, that's not good, but when I write down my measurements, okay, my skylight is 21 inches wide. I'm actually going to make this thing 20 inches wide, so there'll be a little bit of wiggle room. It'll be easier for me to put it up there and take it down. If you make it right up to the edge, it's going to be tough to install and take out. Okay, I got my measurements. I want it to be 20 inches wide, but I've got the two little end pieces on the end, and those are 3/4 of an inch each. So I'm going to take 1.5 inches off the 20, which leaves 18.5 inches that I need to cut this down to. I'm going to need two identical pieces. One for the top, one for the bottom. Okay, I've taken a Sharpie. I've marked 18.5 inches from the end, and I marked it all the way around just to make it a little easier to cut through from any angle. Okay, so now I'm ready to assemble. I've got all my parts. I'm going to assemble the framework. First thing, I put in these corner pieces. Okay, there's a inside and an outside. One's more finished looking than the other, so think about that. And your frame is the same way. So put the finished outside part in. It just slides right in, nice and tight. Okay. Another corner piece. Okay. You don't need hammers or anything like that. It just slides together and comes apart just as easy in case you goof up. Okay. Bam! We've got a frame. Now, if you look at the inside, you will see there's a little groove in there. Okay? That's where the spline is going to go. Make sure that you got that on the same side all the way around. Okay? Spline here. So, I'm going to change positions and we're going to put the cloth in. Okay, so here's my fabric. This is landscaping fabric, remember? But you can use anything. You can use any cloth that you get at any cloth store. And you know, just remember that the tighter the weave, the more light it's going to block out. And the thinner it is, the less light. And you may not want to block out all your light. It's okay. Experiment. Maybe make a few of them. Different shades for different seasons. So basically I want this to be a little bit bigger than my frame. And we can trim it down later. But right now, just so it's easy to work with, I'm just going to make it a couple of inches in every direction bigger than my frame, so I know I'll have enough to work with. Alright, I'm laying it out on the frame so there's extra on every edge. Okay? I'll make it reasonably tight. This stuff's kind of stretchy, and that can make it tricky. I'm going to take my splining tool. This is an important tool. With my spline, I'm going to start on one edge and work my way around. This is going to start on a corner. Take the grooved end of the splining tool. I'm just going to push this in. And be careful, this material will actually shred if I'm not careful with it. It doesn't take a lot of effort, and it kind of slides around a little. I want to keep wrinkles out of it, because that'll make it look kind of ugly. Well, I may not be able to avoid that. Now if I have to, I can pull this out and just start again. Not a big deal. Just line it up and roll that spline into place. It's probably helpful if you have an assistant who can hold things steady for you while you're doing this. Okay, it's a little ugly, but you get the idea. Then what I would do is I'll cut the spline off, a little extra spline there, and then I'm going to trim off all this excess cloth. Being careful not to cut inside my phone. Okay, there we have it. A nice shade. Okay. So now I'm going to install it. Alright, so I'm going to point out something up here that I've already done for my skylight. You see, I have put in thumbtacks. Right there, right there. There's a yellow one and a red one. Okay? That's all I need to hang this. I don't need any fancy brackets or anything else. You can use something fancier, but and certainly you could use something that looks better. But all you need is something that'll hold up a lightweight screen. Okay, now I'm going to install this thing. I'm going to make sure the ugly ragged edge goes up so people don't see that, and the nice smooth side is down. Here we go. And that holds it. I'm sure you can see how the light diminished significantly as I put that in. There's still sunlight coming through. So it's still a light source, like a good skylight should be, but it's not going to be a big heat source anymore. This is one of the reasons I've done it, and why I chose this cloth. I'll give you a closer look. See how I've got that. Got the thumbtacks in there, and it's holding it up. And on this side, there you go. And that's it. Nothing fancy, but it's cheap. You can do this by yourself for 10, maybe 15 bucks. And that's a whole lot cheaper than going to a place that sells blinds and having them build some big fancy thing for you. There you have it. How to build your own shade for a skylight. Thank you very much. I am David Barber. Please check out some of my other how-tos. Mostly they're related to the music industry at rockoncolorado.com. Look at some of my other YouTube videos on Rock On Colo. Thanks. Goodbye.